Hello, my name is Plaza-Wilcox, and my goal is to present an innovative solution that would bridge the digital divide in the Asheville City area in the UK. To begin, I'll do a brief overview of the case scenario. The Asheville region is a low-income community with a high rate of child poverty within the UK that is susceptible to digital exclusion. There are residents like Sophie and her children who have no access to technology, and have low digital literacy. The Asheville City Council, therefore, is seeking an innovative solution to bridge the digital divide, especially in the University Hill area. To begin, or to provide the best solution, first step was defining a more detailed problem situation. So while reviewing the case scenario, answers were sought to four key questions, which were: what are the key issues to be addressed? Who is it a problem for? What social factors affect the problem or shape the problem? And why is it worth the investment? The key issues identified were access to technology for educational learning and opportunities, as evidenced by Aidan and Clara, whose lack of devices and resources put them at a disadvantage at a heavily digital school. Then the increasing digital demands in job market put residents like Sophie at a disadvantage. Then the inability to access digital services for essential services like health care and social services also put residents of Asheville City at a disadvantage. So why is it worth the investment? Well, we live in a digital world now. And according to Adam and Al-Hassam in their journal Bridging the Digital Divide Through Digital Inclusion, citizens' inclusion at all levels of society via technology, whether directly or indirectly, enhances their quality of life. Pearson also says that improving digital literacy leads to greater educational opportunities for children in communities such as Asheville in a digital economy. And with more digitally literatory residents leads to a more improved job market that can drive investment and job creation in these communities. With the problem situation clearly defined, I then engaged in some system thinking to identify factors or variables that contribute to the digital divide. This causal diagram provides a visual of the variables that contribute to the divide in Asheville and how these variables interconnect and influence each other. The reciprocated loop on the right illustrates the current situation at Asheville City, while the balancing loop on the left shows what the situation will be with the investment in infrastructure resources. The situation on the right shows that the lack of internet contributes to the limited digital literacy, all moving within the same direction, while the ones on the left with the investment is now balancing off that situation on the right. This outlines how important investment in digital resources and digital training must be an important part of any solution to address the digital divide at Asheville City. Another important step was conducting a CATWA analysis, identifying the key stakeholders that would be affected by the innovative solution and their perspectives on it. The acronym comprises the different aspects to be analyzed, such as the customers, actors, transformation worldview, owners, and the environmental constraints. Now, what would be the expectations of the Asheville residents who are the customers of the solution? What would they expect from this innovative solution? Well, I was able to identify three areas: access to affordable and reliable internet services, support to developing digital literacy skills, and access to devices and tools necessary for education, job applications, and essential online services. Asheville City Council, NGOs, schools, etc. will be the actors responsible for delivering the solution and managing all its components. They are also the owners who has the power to make decisions regarding policies and resource allocation and make the change. Within the transformation process, it outlines what needs to be done to take Asheville from a community where residents lack digital literacy and resources to an inclusive digital environment. How this will be achieved will be discussed further as we go into the solution in more detail. In the larger context of the worldview, the digital divide perpetuates social and economic inequality. Therefore, it's important that this innovation will bridge the digital divide, improve the quality of life, and ensure social mobility and economic growth in Asheville. Because, as declared by the United Nations General Assembly in 2016, digital inclusion is now becoming a human right. The final analysis will be the environmental constraints, the external factors that can affect the rollout of these solutions, such as budget constraints, community resistance, because you need to get the buy-in of the community for this to succeed. Based on the CATWA analysis and the insights made in Task 1, which showed each sector, be it the government or the charity groups such as Good Things Foundation, try to address the digital divide in their own way, end up operating in silos, hence not being sustainable. Therefore, the recommended innovative solution is a collaborative, multi-stakeholder business model. It's an innovation in process with a business model comprising the government agencies, the community groups and NGOs like Good Things Foundation and Center for Better Aging, and the private sectors, the tech companies. The name of this innovation is Connected City Initiative, and the hope is that Asheville City will be the pilot project for this initiative. Once successful, the hope is that this initiative can then be rolled out to other rural communities within the UK. The business model canvas was used to map out each of the 9 building blocks, identifying the value propositions, the key resources, the key activities, key partners to make the initiatives a success. As shown on the screen, there's an outline of these different building blocks were populated with the information to help in building the model. Now, how does the model work? There are 3 levels or layers to the model. The governance level, under which the Asheville City Council and other government agencies and private partnerships operate. The operations level, under which the responsibility of the NGOs and the community groups fall, and the community level, where the schools and libraries operate and the beneficiaries of the solution lies. Under the governance sponsorship level, there is the Asheville City Council, who's responsible for getting the central and local government funding from those areas. They will then establish partnerships with private sectors. So the goal will be to establish a database of approved private sector partnerships and NGO partnerships like Good Thing Foundations, especially since they already have programs that they currently work with, like the National Bank Initiative and I think the National Device Foundation Initiative. Then Asheville City Council must establish partnerships with local schools and libraries to be resource centers for this training. In establishing these partnerships, there's the option of tax breaks to the approved partnerships to engage in the internet infrastructure in Asheville. And the private sector businesses would be responsible for acquiring the license to train the resources such as Coursera and Allison.com for use at the training centers within Asheville. Once the governance and the sponsorship is structured, the operations level is engaged, where the non-profits and the community groups will be the driving force of the initiative. They would be the ones on the ground, conducting interviews and assessments of the community to build a database of residents' needs and skills level. The non-profits and NGOs would arrange and manage the training for residents in authorized resource centers and assist with accessing online health and social services. This is all part of training. The NGOs would engage in the local and external businesses to donate end-of-life devices to the community, the distribution of which should be managed by the NGOs to ensure children like Aidan and Clara get the devices that they deserve. Or that they need, The private sector would provide the NGOs with the necessary license and the digital resources for the training. And the private sector, in this case the ISPs, would provide the mobile hotspots to families with children like Aidan and Clara who would require access at home to complete schoolwork. So it's all about the private sector's NGOs and the governance in terms of the City Council working together to push the initiative. Now, at the community level, the schools and libraries become the training hubs. Residents become through this training, because remember we have to get community buy-in. So through this training, the residents become digitally literate, more access to healthcare and services online, and residents like Sophie would now become more marketable in the job market. The more digitally skilled residents open up the job market in the community and will encourage tech companies like the ISPs to invest in the infrastructure. Because in the task one, we had a scenario of catch 22, where you have residents not digitally literate due to lack of investment or internet in the area, but yet ISPs forego investing in the area because of the lack of subscription from residents in the area. So now with this initiative, with the residents becoming more digitally literate, maybe there'll be investment or want for investment in subscriptions, which would encourage the ISPs to now move into the market of the rural community. The trained residents then become part of a mentorship program to continue training other residents. So this is showing the sustainability of the initiative. And throughout this process, you have feedback and metrics from the participants gathered by the NGOs at different stages and passed to the different sectors at governance level to help determine returns on investments. Especially in private sector partnership, it's always important for them to know what their return on their investments are. This last slide outlines the change management roadmap for such initiative. So establishing the partnerships in the first 3 months, building up the community or setting up the community in 3 to 6 months. This is a crucial part because you have to get community buy-in for this initiative to be successful. Running the test, gathering the feedback over a period of time, and within a year period, if it's successful, because the aim is to really use Asheville as a pilot project, maybe just a University Hill area. So it's a pilot project where you have maybe a community Wi-Fi just in that area, mobile devices just for certain families in that area. It's a pilot project. And once this shows to be successful, then it's officially launched the entire Asheville area after a 12-month period. KPIs continue to be tracked, and depending on the success of the initiative, it's then rolled out to other rural communities within the UK. I hope Asheville City Council accepts my proposal, and I thank you for the opportunity to present. Thank you.